Good evening, everybody. Ed Sorensen and Ari Leyendijk live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway after day 2 of qualifications out here. Of course, Ari Leyendijk sitting on the pole. He earned that distinction yesterday, and this must be real nice. Get it out of the way, do well, and you can relax and work on that race day setup.
Well, we had a nice day today. We had a day off. The team had a day off. This morning we came out to do the front row pictures, and since that I've had a few more functions to do, but it's been a nice relaxing day knowing that we're on the pole.
You know, some guys that maybe weren't expected to go fast went pretty fast today, especially late in the day, but some other big names, including 4-time winner Al Unser and the 1986 champion Bobby Rahal, the defending circuit points champion, did not go well, and Bobby Rahal took a lap in the 2:16 vicinity and accepted that. Do you think that's going to hold up? A lot of people are wondering about that.
Well, you know, I think their strategy is to qualify this car, and if they do get bumped, they always have the other car to qualify next week. So if it rains next week, at least they're still in the show. I think it's a good strategy to follow.
Yeah, it's a situation, though, that a guy like Rahal is obviously not very familiar with being in, possibly having to qualify on that second weekend. Right now, Ken Tomesh is here with more on a couple of great ones, Bobby Rahal and Big Al, who accepted speeds today that they aren't real familiar with having to deal with. Here's Ken.
And the green light is on, and the track is open for qualification.
Nobody knows the trouble 2 former Indy champions have seen so far. 4-time winner Al Unser Sr. not only had to wait until Sunday to qualify, he could only average just over 217 miles an hour when he finally did qualify.
This place has that funny bit about it. It makes you work, and you can sometimes come here and think you have it all wrapped up, and all of a sudden the next day you wake up and you say, boy, where did it go?
86 champ Bobby Rahal wasn't able to go much of the week because of the flu, and a sickly first lap of 2:14 Saturday forced him to wave off. Sunday, he was just over 2:17 as well. Not great, but on this day, a keeper.
I think 17s we are going to take. Anything in the 17s, I mean, I firmly believe that'll make the field.
It almost seems as if the numbers on the scoring pylon are upside down. I mean, you don't normally expect to see Bobby Rahal and Al Unser looking up at so many other drivers. And you can believe that that's not where they want to be either.
It's not good. But I'm not happy about that whatsoever. But there isn't anything we could do. We wanted to get the car in now. Here we are.
It's been a struggle. You know, just when you think the car is responding, you do something, it just goes over the edge. We just need to find some forgiveness with it.
And if their cars don't forgive, Rahal and Unser might have to forget winning this year. Ken Tomesh for Trackside 6.
Thanks, Kenny. And Bobby gets in with a speed of 2:17.140. Jeff Andretti standing by to join us live after the next commercial. But, Ari, you had a point to make about Bobby's chassis.
Well, I think we have to realize that Bobby's running the Rahal Hogan chassis, the former True Sport chassis built in America. And it hasn't really been up to snuff on the speedways last year. And obviously this year they haven't gotten speed out of it anyway. So, you know, he's not running a Lola like most other people are.
Right. Hey, you know, we've got a big crowd over here by the fence. As we go to commercial, folks, let's hear it for Jeff Andretti, our guest coming up live. We'll be back after this timeout. They love you, Jeff. Leyendijk, the 93 pole sitter, and Jeff Andretti live right here at the start-finish line. Jeffrey, how did it go today? You're right now in the middle of 6 with a speed average of 220.5.
It went pretty good. You know, I was very pleased with the run. You know, we were running right around those speeds all week, and you know, I knew yesterday when we took a wave off, I knew we can go quicker. So, you know, it was a bit of a risk at first, but then, you know, we got into today, I saw the weather was a lot cooler, so I knew that the speeds would be up. So, you know, our gamble paid off.
Okay, we've got some highlights of your run today. Ari, any questions for Jeff?
Well, I saw the run earlier. I was just wondering what your car was doing, because I noticed that your entry to the turns is a little bit sooner and a little bit earlier than most of us. Is there any reasoning behind that?
Well, it's just, you know, the normal lines that I've been taking all month. You know, it's car had a bit of a push in it, so I was trying to just keep the car down a little bit through the corner.
You know, a lot of people have been saying that they feel the new course, the new design is fine as long as you're practicing. It's fine on qualifying days, but especially after what happened in last year's race to you and a lot of other people, it must give you pause to wonder what it's going to be like come race day when you got 33 guys barreling into one and you don't have nearly as much room for error as you did a year ago.
Well, it's going to be difficult. You know, I think at the start, especially where I'm going to be starting, you just have to really bide your time, you know, and not do anything stupid at the start. Just sort of feel your way and, you know, just try and stay out of trouble in turn one, because there's certainly going to be a lot of chaos down in turn one at the start.
Well, car number 21 safely in the field at 2:20.572. Jeff Andretti, thanks so much. Great to see you again.
Thank you.
All right. Now, there was one incident today involving John Paul, and it happened down in the South Chute where so many of them have occurred. Let's take a look at that. And he's a pretty lucky guy tonight, Ari.
Oh, he is. He wins right.
Wow. Very, very lucky.
Just managed to miss the wall.
Didn't hit a thing.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to see that because, you know, John Paul is one of those drivers that has had a lot of bad luck in recent years, and he definitely needs, you know, a better chance and a better race car.
Is there anything about the South Chute, because it seemed like just about every incident has occurred either down there or maybe coming out of 4, and I heard a little Al yesterday saying it was mighty slick. Probably wasn't as slick today because it was so much cooler, but is that part of the course any different than it has been, any more dangerous than it has been in the past?
No, not really. Turn 1 is always a corner. Turn 1 and turn 3, I find, always are the most difficult turns on the racetrack. And but it changes around from day to day as well. So, of course, I wasn't out there today. But, you know, it could have easily happened to him in turn 2 or 3 or 4. I mean, it seemed to me the wind's blowing very hard today, and that causes some troubles.
Speaking of 4, Davy Jones had some problems up there, and we've got some video of that to take a look at. This is the guy that hasn't been here for about 3 years, but blows an engine right there and tries to make it around.
He did a magnificent job of saving the car coming out of 3 because he got real squirrely there. But then what happened here? I saw that earlier, and I really don't know what happened. It looked like something locked up and just threw him into the wall because obviously Davy...
And you saw him making a very rapid attempt at exiting the car right there. Yeah, so you say that he did a great job after the engine blew just to save it there?
Yeah, right there in turn 3, the car was really, you know, getting real loose because he was spraying fluid on the rear tires, and we could see what happened last year with Rick Mears when that happens.
Yeah. You know, we didn't really have a chance to talk about this as we were setting up the grid at the end of last night's show, but one of the things I felt you were most impressed with yesterday was the effort of Stefan Johansson.
That's right. Stefan Johansson has kind of been overlooked in all the hoopla yesterday about A.J. Foyt retiring and with us coming on to grab the pole in the end. But Stefan did a great job as a rookie, driving for, you know, if you consider he's driving a Penske, and he out-qualified the 2 Works Penske cars of Emerson Fittipaldi and Paul Tracy. Right. And doing that as a rookie, I call that pretty impressive.
Well, he stuck it on the outside of 2 at 2:20.8, and of course he drives for Tony Bettenhausen, and that had to take a load off Tony's mind, and he told us that made it a lot easier for him to qualify today. He's in the middle of 8 right now at 2:18.034. Here's Tony Bettenhausen.
Well, our priority all along was to get Stefan in the race ASAP, and when he got it up yesterday and went out there and really let it hang out for 4 laps, it made my job easier this morning. We got a break with the weather, so you know, we couldn't be happier right now.
First, we don't want to get this reversed. Okay.
Well, I don't think they'll see it then.
More on Tony Bettenhausen right there. More of his run, 2:18.034.
It's a good one, you know, considering the amount of practice he had.
Yeah, yeah. And Tony B now is in the middle of 8, as we mentioned. Folks, keep it right here for our qualification summary report as it continues. We're going to go back live and talk to the great Lynn St. James. Yes, she is great. She's a great role model and driver. And also Gary Bettenhausen. Wave to all your fans, Gary. Come on. We'll be back live with more. Do I prod these people or what? 15 minutes, we're out of here, but we got a lot more to do here. Ed Sorensen and Ari Landike live at the Brickyard. Let's go back to Lynn St. James in the Gasoline Alley. Lynn, congratulations. You're in the field there with a run today of 2:18.042, and that puts you right now on the inside of 8. How was it out there today, Vet?
Well, it was a lot better today than it's been the rest of the time this week. It finally came together, and it couldn't have happened on a better day.
Then I noticed that Raul was in your car the other day. This is Ari, by the way. Congratulations on putting it in the field. Did Raul help you with the setup of the car?
Well, you know, Raul got in the car. I can't quite hear exactly what you asked me, but I heard you mention Raul, and he did get in the car this morning. I just wasn't reading the car well. I didn't feel totally confident as to what I was feeling and telling the crew, so I just wanted to know. I said just to clarify it up so that we don't keep confusing ourselves anymore. If Raul could get in the car. Ooh, I was a little high there going through that turn.
I was just going to ask you about that.
I'm watching it on the monitor, and I'm, God, I wish I could see this whole run because I still have a hard time getting an absolute, precise, consistent 4 laps together, but my confidence was there because I knew the car was good, and Raul helped tremendously. I can't thank him enough and thank the team enough.
So Lynn, you come back to the WRTV editing suite anytime, and we'll show you whatever video of yourself you want to see. What has the reception been like for you coming back here after your breakthrough year a year ago?
Well, it's been great. I mean, I felt so good here last year, you know, the fan support and the officials, everybody, the drivers. I mean, it's just been, you know, a very warm feeling, and I've got it again this year. I mean, I'm just delighted to be able to be doing it and to finally be racing at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and to come back, because last year when I left here, I wasn't sure. I mean, I had victory dinner there when I said, we'll be back. I said that from the heart, but I didn't have anything, you know, to count on at that point. So it's great to be back, and the support has been terrific.
Could you tell the fans out there about your season-long program? Is it going to be a full year or selected events?
Well, the intent is to do a full season. I'm still trying to raise the rest of the money and work with Dick to pull all of the funding together. We really do want to run a full season. I mean, Nike and JCPenney and Janssen and Revlon, the sponsors, want us to go full season, but you know, it gets pretty tight. So far, we've been running it fairly efficiently from a financial standpoint. If we can keep that going, then I hope we can do the whole program. Because for me, that's where I'm going to get better, is if I spend more time in the race car.
Hey, Lynn, if you could hang there for just a second. Now we want to go live back to Gary Bettenhausen's garage. Gary's in the inside of row 7 at 220.380. Gary B., congratulations, buddy. What a difference a day makes, huh?
Oh, boy, I guess so. Yesterday, I scared myself pretty bad when the car got away from me on the 4th lap, and the worst part is that I didn't know why the thing spun, because the car had a big understeer in it for the first 3 laps, and the next thing I knew, I was going backwards and lifted up off the ground, and I had no explanation to myself why it happened. But today we went out and then we gained a little bit this morning, and then lost an engine about 2 o'clock this afternoon, and the guys really worked hard to get the engine changed, and we went back out and I ran about 4 practice laps, and I said, put it in line, it's getting late, I got to do it.
Well, great job, Gary. This is Ari here. By the way, I just saw your crash for the first time. You got real lucky there because the car got airborne there for a while. Did you realize that when that was happening?
No, I didn't, Ari. It was a crazy ride. You know, I knew I didn't hit the wall hard because I didn't feel any hard thumps, but I knew it was more than a spin, because the thing there was, you know, it was bouncing around pretty hard. I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
This is your run today, Gary, and while we continue to look at this, we've got Lynn St. James listening in on this conversation. You've had such a lifelong love affair with the Indianapolis 500. You've seen basically everything that's happened here. You know as much about this place as any man alive. What do you think about Lynn St. James as a driver?
Well, I'll tell you what. She's doing a fantastic job, and every race driver here that knows her respects her and likes her. And believe me, she's earned it.
Lynn, coming from a guy like Gary B., that's got to mean a lot.
What a thrill that was to hear live. Put him on the spot, but he did great.
That's my job, Lynn.
What do you think about him?
Yeah, hey, Ari asked a good question. What do you think about Gary B.?
Yeah.
I can tell you one thing. She's the only race driver that could turn me on.
Hey, I think we're sharing a little too much.
I think we got to cut it off right here.
Lynn, Gary B., thanks so much. Leave it to one of those Bettenhausen guys, huh, Lynn?
This may be the thrill of the deal here for me, guys.
Well, you know, you could chat over dinner.
Yeah. Hey, anyway, folks, we're going to take a break here, and we'll be back with more, live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, I tell you something. Ari Landijk must be floating the size of that balloon. Still, one day later after winning the pole, did you have trouble sleeping last night? Were you so excited? Were you pushed?
No, I already started to figure out what I should do at the start of the race, so I'm already working on that plan mentally.
You're not going to share that right now, though, huh? Anyway, we want to take a look at some of the other qualifying runs today. First of all, we've got Stan Fox to show you. He's on the outside of 7 at this point in the number 91 car. He qualified at 2:18.7, and we spoke with Stan, the man, shortly after his run.
You know, the track's a little cooler today, so it's you find some mile an hour that are really across the board. Everybody gets them. And yesterday, Ron Hemmelgarn decided to wave our attempt off. A lot of people doubted him, but today the track's better, and I think we did the right thing. And I'm having a little trouble with the car. It takes me a lap or two to get up to speed. I don't know if it's me or the temperature in the engine or whatever, but I think we're in solid.
Look at Stan Fox right there. Now we want to talk about Teo Fabi. This guy will never play in the NBA, but he's a very good driver. In fact, he sat on the pole. What? In fact, he sat on the pole here in 1983.
Yep.
And Teo right now is on the outside of 6 in car number 8 at 220.514. And Teo said it was not easy getting that speed out of his car.
Well, it's a very difficult car, and it needs really fine-tuning to go up to speed, and it changes a lot with the temperature or with the wind, so it's very difficult to get the car in good shape at the right moment. The problem is that we have a lot of push on the car, and it's getting worse the more we are running, and that's the reason why we're not as fast as we would like.
Driver of car number 8 there, Teo Fabi. Now, Scott Goodyear, let's jump back to yesterday. Scott Goodyear, who, of course, nearly won this thing a year ago, qualified on the inside of 2 in his number 2 car, his time 222.344. And one of our fine videographers, photographers, Jim Simmons, prepared this look at Scott Goodyear's day yesterday in his run for the pole.
We've been on Indy for the last 12 years in a row. This is the best weekend we've had for the first weekend qualification.
It looks cool, so if it gets much warmer, then it could get a bit slippery.
Got to be careful in this session because conditions are ideal, so you can get fooled a little into thinking, you know, you're going better than you are.
I'm 10th, along with the whole team. There's an awful lot of butterflies in the stomach. We have a shot at the pole.
It looks like we're in with a chance, but there's still a few more guys out there who can go just as quick, so we're not going to get too excited because we got to go out and do it ourselves.
I guess I'm initially pleased and relieved that it's over with because qualifying is such a nerve-wracking experience, but a little disappointed in the sense that we were shooting for the pole and just wasn't quite fast enough.
That's Jim Simmons doing that story right there. And, you know, we are just surrounded by outstanding photographers out here. Jim's only one of them. Steve Denny, Dave Schmiedel, Brian Richmond, and Steve Brenneman all deserve a big pat on the back. And if we have time at the end, I'm killing time for this, we'll show you more of their work. Now, let's set the grid. Ari, and I want your comments. Is that guy on the inside of 1 any good? Is he going to be any good on race day?
Yeah, he's going to be a threat on race day. so is the guy in the middle and the other guy on the outside, Raul Boisel.
Boy, he has done a great job. Scott Goodyear proving that he is his finish here last year was no fluke, and then the guy who barely beat him in the middle of 2. And then one of Ari's favorites there, Johansson on the outside of row 2. Row 3, Paul Tracy, Nigel Mansell, Emerson Fittipaldi. That's a very interesting row to me. And Roberto Guerrero, who won the pole a year ago, Scott Brighton, Danny Sullivan. What about row 5, Ari?
Row 5 is Nelson Piquet. Obviously, we know what happened to Nelson last year, a big crash, so he came back strong with that in mind. Kevin Kogan, he's back. His last year was 1991. He had a big crash then.
And Scott Pruitt on the outside. Now we pick it up with row number, I can't see.
Row number 6.
Row number 6, yeah, okay.
Stephen Gregoire.
He did a nice job today, qualifying at 220.8. Jeff Andretti, Teo Fabi. Row number 7, Gary B., Jimmy Vassar, and Stan Fox. Row 8, we've heard live from Lynn St. James tonight. Tony Bettenhausen and Big Al. And row 9, Bobby Rahal. Man, I know he can't be happy with that. And your buddy Mark Smith. Now, we've got 7 spots left to fill, so it's going to be another wacky weekend next week, huh?
Well, I don't think it's going to be that exciting next week as far as
We got to
anticipating
plug
any
the show,
high
though.
speed.
So.
Well, as far as high speeds, but it's going to be exciting with the bubble day coming up.
All right. Ari's going to join us, by the way, tonight on Sports Nuts. He's wanted a hat, so we figured we'd get him down and give him
Let
one.
my hair down.
Yeah, okay. See you tonight, Ari. Thanks a lot, buddy. Good night, everybody, and we'll conclude this qualification summary report with more of the fine photography of our staff out here. Good night, everybody. Can we hear it, folks? Was that a good show or what?
It was a very hard lap. It was probably a lap like the first time I won Indy in 1961. It was an emotional lap.